Hey cuties, I'm Lanikia and you're watching What Happened on the Soaps. This is Days of Our Lives Beyond Salem, Season 2, Episode 1 edition. All right, guys, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to be real honest with you. It started off real slow for me. The best part of this, honestly, was Ciara to me and Hope when she was like really putting Hope's feet to the fire about where have you been. And so let's just get right on into it. We start off by, and I don't know his name, so I'm gonna call him by his real name, Steve, the actor. So it's in the Mediterranean 1 year ago, and he's down there looking for some type of treasure or something in the ocean. He can't find it. There's two fishermen out there with them, and he was like, "I'm gonna kill y'all." And they were like, "Well, no, 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 no." There was a woman who rented a boat. Maybe she came and got it. And he was like, "What's the name?" And they said Brady. Well, he killed the two fishermen anyways. And so then we fast forward to present day, and we see that Ben and Ciara have been living in sin for a week now, and they have docked in Montreal, Quebec, Quebec. And it's present day now, and Sin and they're visiting Hope. So Hope meets them on a dock. They're so happy, everything is cool, and so then they go to Hope's place or whatever, right? And first of all, that dress Hope had on was really pretty. That was a really pretty dress. Okay, so they go to Hope's place, right? And Sierra was like, And Hope was like, "Were you expecting something more, nicer?" Her place was cute. And Sierra said, "I don't know what I was expecting. We ain't heard from you for 2 years or whatever. So I thought it was going to be more like spy like or something like that." And Ben is like, "Sierra, we talked about this." She said, "No, you talked about this. I want to know where she's been." So Ben goes and he takes the baby or whatever, but he tries to tell, you know, Hope it's all love and everything. But Sierra's like, she got some explaining to do. So Sierra said, "We needed you." She was like, "My dad came and helped." She said, "In spirit." And she said, "No." Sierra said, "No. He came and helped. If you don't believe me, we saw him. You could ask Ben because it's the God honest truth." And she said, "No, I believe you." And so she says, "No, I believe you," and everything. And she was like, "Because like you weren't there, where have you been?" And it was just a dramatic, emotional scene between Hope and Sierra. Now notice Hope never did say where she had been. The only thing she said was, after thinking you were dead, I just had to find myself, and I just needed to find me, and after everything I've been through, I just needed to find me and everything. And so Sierra was like, "Yeah, that's cool and all, but I needed you." And she said Sean needed you, and grandma and grandpa, a lot of people missed you or whatever. And it's just like, so you just been out here living your life, enjoying yourself or something, and not really caring about how it affected us or whatever. But Hope just apologized to her, and she told her she loved her and she's sorry she hurt her. Sierra forgives her. And so Sierra tells her, "I'm so tired, like this baby has been keeping me up." And Hope says, "Just go to bed or whatever." So the next day we see that Hope is getting dressed and everything, and she's gotten dressed, she's made breakfast, and Sierra and Ben come out, and Hope says, "So how long y'all plan on staying there?" Sierra like, "Wait a minute, are you trying to get rid of us?" And Ben said, "Well, we was hoping to stay a couple of days." And Hope was like, "No, no, 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 I was just asking, just to figure out how long y'all are gonna be here." Now we're gonna pause the story right here. Now while all this is going on, Bo is looking in. He is streaming from heaven, y'all. I said, it's a soap, so Nikki's gonna roll with it. It's a soap. Okay, so Bo is streaming from heaven, and I mean literally streaming this from heaven on a TV, streaming. And so Angela Loretta Devine, I love me some Loretta Devine. She getting on Bo because she said you weren't supposed to. She said you went down there and save your grandson. And he was like, "I was gonna do that." And she said, "Well, that's not really what got you in trouble. What got you in trouble is you brought Trip back from life to life." We don't do that. Now, I remember what I told you on that episode. I said, now it's Bo Jesus bringing Trip back or whatever. So Bo is in trouble for bringing Trip back. And so he has lost his privilege. And she told him, I shouldn't have even been showing you anyways that you could actually see, watch Hope and all of them anyways. I shouldn't have been showing you anyways. And so that's what's going on. Bo has just been watching. He's in trouble. Loretta Vine leaves him, but he finds out a way to reconnect the I guess the Wi-Fi and the streaming service and everything so he can look back down into their lives. I said, it's Days. Y'all know how Days do. Okay, so then we see Steve, Kayla, and they surprise Trip, Stephanie, and hold on, let me get Steve Chisholm right. Y'all know so they surprise John. Yeah, so Steve and Kayla surprise Trip, Joey, and Steffi. They surprised them at in Seattle. So now we're in Seattle. And so everything is going cute. They're happy to see their parents, and they say, "Let's show us the city." So Joey show them the city, but he's showing weird places, and they like, you can't show us anymore because they go back to the apartment, right? And so they're weren't ready to eat, so they said, "Let's order some pizza. Let's not like Joey, you can't," because he was like, "Let's go to this little place. I know it's offbeat," and they said, "No, let's just order some pizza, have some beers, and have fun. Relax at the house." And they were like, "Okay, cool." So they ordered a pizza and everything, right? And they each order a pizza for themselves. So the man from the boat, remember earlier I told you he killed somebody. Steve, because we don't know his name yet, he is the one who delivers the pizza. And I said, well, what is he doing here delivering this pizza? So he delivers the pizza, right? And everybody gets their pizza and they all going around and they said, and Joey said, check the pizza before Steve leaves or whatever to make sure that it's right. So everybody get their pizza. Not, yeah. So, but then when the pizza gets to Steve, he opens his pizza and it's like a bomb or something in there. So it goes off. And so Steffi gets hurt in it. Everybody gets knocked to the floor. And when Kayla and Trip, they trying to take care of Steffi. And then Joey's like, where is dad? Where's dad? Well, Steve is gone because, Steve, the crook, has kidnapped him or whatever. And he's taking him. And so we see he's gone. So then we go to John. And John is in California. I believe that's where John is in California. And he's with y'all know his son Paul. So he's there with Paul enjoying himself at a pride party. Because Paul is gay. So John and Paul done threw a party. They having a good time or whatever. They dancing. They got people over. The DJ is there. They just having a nice little time or whatever. So then everybody leaves because the party is over. And John and Paul clean up. And they say, hey, let's share a beer. So they share a beer and everything. And then the next thing you know, they get a knock on the door and it's a police officer. But it's not a police officer. It's Crooked Steve from the boat earlier. You remember he killed the two men. And now he has Steve held hostage. He's taking Steve hostage or whatever. So now this Steve is there, right? So he is at John's and Paul's place or whatever, and he says we got a disturbing the peace complaint. And I said, well, when did you get to the complaint? Because it took you a long time to come because the party been over with. John and Paul have actually cleaned up the place, and you just not coming. And so John says, well, back in the day when people used to do a disturbing the peace complaint, it wasn't really about that. What they were really doing was they were being biased and racist and towards gay men or whatever. And he said this was a Pride Day parade, and he was like, and we're at the point now where I would think y'all wouldn't be, bashing gay men or harassing gay men and everything. And so he says, that what we're doing? And Steve, the crook, said, no, that's not what it is. And then he go and taser John or whatever. He tasers John. And so then Paul started fighting him, right? And so Paul knocks the taser out of his hand, and he said, okay, now we got a fair fight. And I said, oh, Paul can fight. So he and Steve going back and forth, and then Paul knocks Alexa stop. So then Paul knocks Steve out, it looks like, right? So then Paul gonna run over to John talking about dad. And I said, Paul, you didn't think maybe I should tie this man up, then go check on my dad? Well, Paul didn't do all that. So Crooked Steve gets up, right? He grabs a keg and he knocks Paul out. And John is gone. When Paul comes to, John is gone. So Paul calls the police or whatever, right? And they tell him, they trying to make a little jokey joke about it. And he said, this ain't funny. And they said, sorry. And so he shows them the badge that the man had. And they said, this is a fake. They said, it's a really good fake, but it's a fake. And so then they show where Shane, remember Shane from Beyond Salem? He was supposed to come and speak to Paul because Paul had talked to Marlena and he told her, yeah, this is going on with Dad, but don't worry, I'm going to find him. So they're in present day because John had spoken to Marlena earlier and he told her, sorry, I won't be able to make it to Sammy's wedding. So they're doing it. Beyond Salem is not moving ahead of Days of Our Lives. It's coinciding with each other. So anyways, Paul gets a knock on the door. He said, Marlena, this is probably Shane now. So when he opens the door, it's not Shane, it's Shane's son. And I said, well, what's gonna happen here? And then that's it with them. So then we see that Hope is actually okay. So Hope had talked to Ciara, and Ciara said, what have you been doing with yourself? And Hope says, how do you spend your days? And this is after they had made up. And Hope says, oh, I don't do much of anything. And Hope still wear the nails all one color, except that one finger she always has in a different color. And she said, oh, I don't do much of anything. And Bo looks and he said, you lied to our daughter. When that eyebrow lifts up and that bottom line thins, you told a lie. And so then he sees that Hope is working undercover on something. Okay. So then we see that John. Okay, before we get to there, we see that Steffi is in the hospital, right? And Kayla and them say she's gonna make a recovery because you remember she was hurt when that bomb went off for Crooked Steve to get her dad. So, but they say she's gonna make a full recovery and everything. And now they're worried about like finding Steve. They're finding their dad. Okay, so then we get to not Marlena, Lord. We get to John and Steve. And we see Crooked Steve has them, and he's on the phone with the woman, and she says, do you have package number 2? And he's like, yes, I got package number 2. Everything is going according to plan. And she's like, good. So then we see that John and Steve start waking up or whatever, and a woman comes to them, and she says, hello, men, let me introduce myself. And John and Steve say, no need. We know who you are. You're Stefano, the mayor's daughter. And she says, yes, I have returned, Megan Hathaway. And so that was it with them. And then we see that at Hope's place, she's sitting down having breakfast with Ciara and Ben, asking them when they're going to leave or whatever. And you could tell something going on. And all of a sudden, she gets a knock on the door, and they say, were you expecting someone? She was like, no. So she opened this door, and it's Crooked Steve, y'all. On his name tag, it says Michael. But I know him as Crooked Steve until, I guess that's what we're going to call him, Michael now, because now we, I guess, know the name that he's going by. And so I said, oh, he's finna get Hope. So he pulled flowers from behind his back, and she jumped. And I said, Hope, what you jumping for? So I said, okay, maybe she don't trust him or something. And then she said, I wasn't expecting you to next week. He said, I know, I just had to see you. And then they kissed. And Bo is looking in from heaven like, who is this man? And Ciara and Ben are like, who is this? What's going on? And that's how it went off, y'all. And that was the first episode of Beyond Salem. Season 1, episode 1. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you tomorrow for a new episode. Bye.